In this video, I'll show you how you can create a learning object for your student. Be using the Ohm's law as an example because it's a very simple and easy thing to create. And it's just an example. Then you can create more advanced using the same concept, which we'll go through. So we're using a software called Hype. Hype is a software created to help people do some interactive applications or widgets which can be added to iBook or to website or to learning management system, and it is really easy to use. With some JavaScript you can make very advanced and interactive content. The new version, I'm using this version, sorry, but the Pro one will allow you to have some physics as well, the gravity and other things. So if students flip the iPad around objects on the screen, if they are impacted by some physics laws and principles, they will interact based on the orientation of the device, and it can make it really very very interesting. So let's start. When you start to get a screen like this one, what basically I'll do, I'll have some images on the screen. Hope I have those images. Yeah, here is the circuit here. I put it there, and this one just I will adjust it now to the size that I would like to use, and put it there. Later you will see we can create an animation and make objects moving around to demonstrate how the current is moving from the source, and then we'll do other things. Ohm law, as you know, I'm sure those people who are looking at this one, they know, and everybody will know Ohm law at least. It's a relation between voltage, current, and resistors, and there's a nice graph here. If you want to add to the object, it will demonstrate how to calculate V, I, and R. V is I multiply R, I is V divided by R, and R is V divided by I. So what we will do, we'll create a small simulation where the user can change the V, increase it, decrease it, change the R, and the I will be calculated based on the value of V and R, because these are the two parameters that you have control in it. So you can change those two parameters and get other things. Sorry for keep coughing. Now let's add just this plus one here, and I can make it smaller. I would recommend you optimize those objects before the concept of explaining it for you. Just I'm going to use it as it is, and I'll add a minus one here and make it smaller. Okay. So somehow then take it there. But nowadays with the speed of internet and things, should not be a big problem of the size. Yeah, you have to be reasonable. Now I need to add a text here, V, and add, that means the user will change the value of V here, and then we'll get other parameters changing. So this one, you just move it here. You can increase the font and do all the things from here. You can make it bigger if you want it to be. Okay, so let's copy this one. It looks my plus is bigger than my minus, but you understand what I want to do. So I'm copying it and adding it here because I want to add R, changing the resistor's value. So let's copy this one, copy this one, and just add it down here and call it R. You can make all those nice changes to make it looks better. I leave that one to you. My focus now is just showing you how you do that. Now we want the value of V. When the V plus is added, it comes here, and minus it again change here. So I want to do that, I just do a basic text as well. So we'll take this one and we will give it value 0 as initial value and take it and put it here. Let's copy this one and make one for R and another one we will make for I. Now those are important elements, so we need to know what ID we'll give to them because we want them to change through the program. So when the user increases V, this one will change. So you need to know the ID of each one, give it a unique ID. So if I click on this, I can come here and on the I information of that object, you can see here there's something called unique element ID. So we'll give it the name V value, and the other one we'll call it R value. Just watch me if I do something different. I values. I don't know how you will let me know that I made a mistake. Those names are important. This is why I was saying to you, make sure you name them right. Yeah, if you name them wrong, then in your code you need to adjust that to the name you use here. Okay. Now we are almost there, so it should be the time now to start creating some code to do that. So we need a general code to initiate those values and do just basic calculation to find I by dividing V by R. What I'll need to go here to the main page, I need to go to the HTML code. So what I need to here to do a JavaScript code here. So I'll add script here and close it by script. This usually is not usually, that's the way you need to tell the software that you're going to write now JavaScript, and it's better to have it in the head, as you can see. So I'll add here I equals 0, I'll add V equals 0. I mean just initializing those three variables on R equal 0. Then we need a function to display the values of I, V, and R when they change. So we'll create a function, call it display results. Yeah, or call it any name. Doesn't make any difference, but yeah, as long as you follow the right syntax of JavaScript, so there is no space in the name of the function, I think like that. JavaScript is a very simple one. You need to declare the return value or the data type or things like that. So people who know JavaScript, they will find it easy to follow. So that's the function. There's nothing now in the function. So what we want to do, we want that function first to calculate the value of I by dividing V, of course, and then displaying the results. Now we want to display the results or do those calculations only if R is more than 0. So we don't want to divide by 0, yeah? So we'll say if R is more than 0, then this will happen, okay? Now next thing we need to do, we need to display these values on the page. So they need to come here, here, and here. So let's go back to the HTML. To display value in JavaScript in any web element, this one for example, which has the ID, as you remember, V value, basically what you need to do, you need to say document dot get element. Again, spelling is important and the same syntax case as well. The word case, uppercase should be the same ID. Now basically this one is using document with the whole project document or web HTML document. This is the method that will get for me the value of the element or get the element properties. So what the element is, you have open bracket and here you put the V value, the ID which we use there. Okay, now that's basically getting the value, getting the element V value. And now what we want to do, we want to change its text. So we use this another method, inner or properties, inner HTML, or inner text is better, inner text equal v. So basically now this line will display the value of v, okay, on the screen. So it should appear here. Okay, let's continue. The rest are we just copy paste this one and change only the ID, and so this should be R value, and this should be R, and this I value, and this should be I. So that's function is there. Now we did not call it or did not use it. We will use it from somewhere else. We'll call it when the user click on plus. So we want that one to be invoked when the user click on plus. And we need few more things to do. One thing I want to do, I want to take this line because basically this line, the V, should be displayed even if R is 0. Has nothing to do with the value of R. So just put it outside that if statement. So all, even if I do not change R, this should be coming on the screen. Now I think just having a look at, I have no errors in the code. Seems there's no, so I'll just copy this one because I want to use it later. So everything seems to be correct. Okay, let's go back here. Now we want when the user click on plus, the value of v goes up by 1, assume, and then call that function display results. So what we will do, we'll click on plus. Here you have this hand. This is where the events come, or user interaction, and you can see the different interaction. Like you can use drag and drop, you can use mouse over, mouse out, and mouse out, and other things. Let's just click on click and use JavaScript, and we need a function, new function to create. So we'll create a new function. What we will call this function, we'll just change the name to call it increase v. Increase v. Basically this function will be invoked or called when the user click on that plus, and it will do two things. One, it will increase v by 1, and the other one, it will call that function display results, which we have. Okay, so that's basically what it will do. Let's test it now just to make sure it's working, and then if it's working, we'll continue. If there's an error, we'll fix it, because the same thing we will use for the rest of the interaction. I click there, then it will open it in my browser. I do plus, it's going up. So this is going up. Nothing else is changing because R is still 0 and have no option to change R. Now, as you will guess now, it should be easy. This one will be when decrease v. So I'll go function, run JavaScript, create a new function. Let's give it a name. Make sure you change only the name. Decrease v. If you make a spelling mistake, it doesn't make any difference because it's just whatever name you use here, and you should continue using it. It's not good for your code later. So this is v minus 1. Yeah, that's what it is. Let's do the same thing for R while we are here. So increase R by JavaScript. Good thing those functions you created, they are there. You can use them. If you create page 2 of this one with advanced concept, you still can use those two functions or improve them. So a new function will say increase R, and then use R equal R plus 1, and then display, and that's it. Okay, so the last one we need to do is this one, and again we need to decrease R in this case. So plus new function, I'll call it decrease R, and then you can say r equal r minus 1, and we display the results. So we are done now. It should be working. If I made no mistake, all the code are here. If you go and review those codes, some of the mistakes sometimes you'll have. Maybe I'm just copying the name, so there should be no mistake there. Okay, so run that one, and now it's coming. You can test it in your iPad or iPhone and other. I'm changing V. Nothing changed because R is still 0, but once I change value of R, you can see the current value of I, or the current change. And this value is too large and scientifically impossible to get to that accuracy. So what we can do, we can fix it to 4 decimal point to show millimeters or something like that. So let's do that. I'll go here to the main function, which I have here, and I'll say to fix. This is a very useful function that you can use. Just you can, in JavaScript, you can fix any number to certain decimal point, and that will do. You notice I don't need to save anything in Hype. As soon as you add anything, it's added there. So now it will stay within for decimal point. Just to show a few more things you can do with this, and with this beautiful software. Assume you want to add animation. So you want to show the student the current is moving around here. Yeah. So what you can do, you can add any component. You can get an image from somewhere, but let's just use this one to demonstrate. We'll just give it a color red. Yes, it's too big, but just for you to get the idea. So I'll copy it and put it here. And now I want to start doing some animations. So I want to show this one moving from here to here, and then from here to here, and then going down and continuing that. Basically, what you need to advance the timeline. So 1 second. In 1 second, what will happen? Then you click record, and then you drag this object to here. Then stop recording. Okay, that's it. So what we need to do also, we can do some advanced things. Now this is how the curve will go. I just want to I want a linear animation, so it goes in a straight line. You need to make sure it's, otherwise it will make some curve or other things. So you just double click. Now if you want to move it from here to here, you just click on move advanced timeline. So this may be 2 more seconds, because this is a little bit longer, but it doesn't make any difference. I should not do that, because distance here is not important. The speed of light. So click on plus and move it here. Now we did not fix the linear time. Then that way you can continue. Yeah, so you can want to make this one linear again to make sure it goes like a linear line. And then you can see if you animate it, it will show that it's moving around. So I just want to make it coming on the same line. But I don't want to waste your time. You just fix that one by making sure this is from here to here is a linear, from here to here is the whole are linear, and then it will go into straight line. Now the other thing I want to show you, assume you want to add a video to your student, so you can click here on adding a video. But if you have something in YouTube, use HTML widgets. Yeah, so you put this video somewhere here, assume you want it to appear here, and then what you need to add some information that's embedded some text. You can go to YouTube and say YouTube Ohm law, yeah, Ohm's law. So you can get some of those videos on YouTube on Ohm's law. Here is one. I can take, say, this one, for example. I've been into that before. Once you get into the video, just grab the URL. But the reason I'm continuing to show you to do that, I don't want just the normal URL. I want to grab embedded URL. So click
A
on
lot of people are turned off from designing circuits because it can require a bit of math.
yeah, sorry. I want to use embedded math is important.
And
Right?
while many
I'll copy
engineering
this.
equations
Let's close this
could
one.
easily turn off newcomers,
Okay, so I'm here now. I'll click on this and then add the code. So the video will be there. So my student will be able to watch that video, and I can give them some questions as well. I can create some drag and drop and some other things for them to test their knowledge. I can give them an advanced circuit with more resistors and combination of components, and then they need to follow a certain way of finding the relation between the different components during a graph or doing something like that, and it should work easily with no problem. Okay, so I think that's basically what it is. The objective is just to show you what you can do with such a tool, and then it opened your mind for more and more things. And being a subject matter expert, you will come with a better ideas to make this more effective and more useful and engaging for your student. Thank you.